happening. You're the monkey butt. You're making it happen. Look at you. Rah. Right? Rah. Yeah, slap me. I'll scratch your face. I'll keep scratching your face because there's no video happening. We're waiting. Yes. Oh, there it goes. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Houston with a Problem, where we've got problems. LA's on fire. Pacific Palisades basically burned down. It's heading towards Malibu. Altadena might be gone. Heading into Pasadena. We've got fires all over the place. The Santa Ana winds are absolutely bonkers. They were running 60 to 100 miles an hour last night, depending on which downslope you're on. There's no stopping a spreading wildfire when you have winds like that. The embers get blown up to 3 miles away, igniting things. And there's been just incredible video coming out of the rapid pace of destruction that's happening there. So, you know, keep all those folks in mind. This is a fire disaster as big as what happened in Maui, at least when it comes to destruction of property. The loss of life hopefully isn't that high. People in this area are used to wildfire season, and they heed their evacuation warnings, and so I hope a lot of them got out. But you know, it's brutal, absolutely brutal. So my guess is this charity month might be for fire efforts in California. Well, we'll see here. I bought my call options. I got 35 fives for the 17th. I got 12 of them. I was hoping to get more, but the price, I was hoping they'd do a little shorting today so that the price would come down, but that's all right. No trading tomorrow. They closed the stock market in honor of Jimmy Carter. And so we have a short trading week, and we are at about $33. Max Pain here says at $30.50. So we're $2.50 above Max Pain right now. We've got about 2.2 million shares in the money. And if that post from Roaring Kitty about 109,420 proves correct, I just realized this needs one more button. Then we might get a post from him tomorrow. And if we get a post from him tomorrow, maybe a yellow update. Oh, that'd be so awesome. The algorithm will make the stock go nuts tomorrow. There's still Max Pain for next week, still $23. So we're $10 over that, which means there's a lot of buying that has to happen to make good on all those naked in the money contracts they have for next week. So that's why I'm hoping the next week goes a little bonkers. And if so, then the 24th is going to be really bonkers. That is week 4 of week 4, week 4 of the month. And that was when things went wild in 2021. So if the 4-year leaps, the 4-year what's the word I'm looking for? 4-year swaps theory proves correct, then we might see the need to purchase way more shares. So we've got a little perfect storm. We've got price actions gaining, right? We've got the options chain is absolutely coiled and ready to explode. We've got the swaps coming in again, forcing buying. We've got FTDs from the last round when swaps were there starting to come due tomorrow when they can't buy anything. So we might see weird, 24-hour market things happen. Maybe merger acquisition. I don't know. Something happening. So I bought those options. I'm going to sit. I'm going to wait. If things go bonkers on Friday, and I'm well on the money on those options, I'll probably sell them, buy back in right before close for next week at a new strike with more contracts, and then hope that things get even weirder next week. So that's the plan anyway. So we'll see if that works. Batman, anything to add? No? Okay. All right. Let's go classic. Wink. Okay. We turn off the intro, ding dong. Oh, last week's intro off? Yes. Okay. All right. What's on your minds, y'all? Andrew Forster first. Dead Bass. Meta-polling, fact-checkers, and recommending more political content. Yeah, my entire Facebook feed is full of friends who are like, this is my last post. Later, bitches. Find me on Blue Sky. So all my friends are heading over to Blue Sky. They are ditching Facebook. I do not spend the amount of time on Facebook like I did 10 years ago. It used to be the place for me to argue with folks. That was number one. Houston getting in debates with folks was over on Facebook, and Facebook has boomered out. They used to get, the ads at Facebook used to be for like, Hilton or Chevy trucks, and now most of the ads are scams. They're like, get these $3,000 in Milwaukee power tools for $99. And then all the comments are like, I ordered these 3 months ago and I haven't received anything. Right? It's just scam after scam after scam. So I don't spend as much time there as I used to. Yeah, Zuckerberg has definitely bent the knee. He's facing basically antitrust charges from the FTC. Trial happens in April. He met Trump in Mar-a-Lago, gave him $1 million, and now he's sort of bending the knee. So it sounds like what they want to do is they want to do a community notes type system, like what Twitter has. But Twitter's been hemorrhaging users like crazy since then, so I don't know what good it is. Like, on the one side, I do admit Facebook moderation was bad. Like, if you encountered somebody who was racist, homophobic, xenophobic, sexist, just a shitty person posting really horrible things, and you'd flag them, be like, whoa, this is really uncalled for. You flag it, and then a day later you get one of two messages. You get, our moderators are so busy we can't even look into this. Or, we looked into this, it doesn't violate our terms of service. And then if I said something like, I remember my little rant I went on Monday. I talked about violence men perpetrate on women and how I would never want to be a woman, etc. I remember once this woman wrote something about something horrible that her husband or boyfriend was doing that was just like touching little kids, just bad stuff. And I wrote, men are the worst. And I got a 30-day suspension for hate speech. One time I wrote, most Americans are mostly stupid. And I got a 30-day suspension for hate speech. One time I mentioned Manifest Destiny. A person who I don't think was from the U.S. asked, what is Manifest Destiny? And I described what Manifest Destiny was, and I got a 30-day suspension. Recently, on Wall Street Bets Facebook group, which is the dumbest people in the entire world, absolute gutterball of humanity, a guy called me a fag, and I was like, whoa, flag that. And Facebook did the thing like, we looked at this, there's nothing against our terms of service. So I screenshot it. I posted like, hey, Facebook doesn't have any problem with this. And then Facebook gave me a 30-day ban for posting hate speech. Hate speech that someone else directed at me and said was okay. So the moderation sucks. It absolutely sucks. And it's already bent really, 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 really far to the right. But getting rid of their content moderators in general, I think, is probably going to be a disaster for their platform. Just like it has been over on Twitter, where it's been rampant with far-right, racist Nazis, alt-right people, and those folks are chasing everyone away. So, Facebook dies, then she dies. Yeah. Oh well. Didwick. Oh, sorry. Wait, one sec. Jigashukla. Got a green chat here. Count the Northeast in your plans for New Canada. Yeah, that Canadian member of Parliament. She mentioned the West Coast. She mentioned New Hampshire, Vermont, Maine, Massachusetts. I'll take universal health care, man. The one time I got injured in Canada, I blew out my knee skiing when I was in high school. It was bad. We were skiing in a fog, and then all of a sudden the slope turned to a mogul field, and I had no warning and just ate it. And I thought I blew out everything in my knee. Get rescued by ski patrol, take me down, take me to the hospital, all these machines go ping pong ping off, and they, x-ray everything. And I was like, oh man, my family's not going to be able to afford this bill. And then they just sent me home. It's like, you didn't even know my address or anything? They're like, no, we don't care. So imagine that. Michael Steegs, Houston. Option plays from the Netherlands are useless because of strict and limiting rules. Brokers like Robinhood don't offer services in my country. Do you know how to play options like you can? You may just be stuck day trading the stock or hoping for the moon. I have no idea how you would play options. I would look at IBKR because they are huge. I mean, international brokers. They're huge, and I know other people in Europe have been able to play options through them. So I'd look at IBKR joining them. But do you know Robinhood like brokers offer services outside the U.S.? Yeah, maybe Tiger also. Tiger will do New York Stock Exchange and NASDAQ, like listed securities, and I think you can get options with them as well. And they're pretty international. They're based out of Singapore. So I'd try Tiger too. Try IBKR, try Tiger. If anyone else happens to be from the Netherlands or somewhere in that, Schengen zone, let Michael know. Juice Mammy, tired. Agreed. Andrew Forster, happy birthday, Houston. With the possible link between the Chicago Stock Exchange and large price increases, how do you feel these two large Chicago trades on Monday, Tuesday will affect next week? I think it depends on who is doing the trading. If it's Roaring Kitty, then he's shoring up and he'll have something to post for his YOLO update to make us go, wowee. I would hope that right now he's purchasing contracts and not necessarily shares, but the shares could be generating FTDs, which means March could go wild, etc. Or it's options writers. Remember, most of the options houses are in Chicago. Well, Chicago, New York, Philadelphia, Boston. That's where most of the big options houses are. And they might be having to do purchases because we're seeing the max pain starting to rise to $23. They might be doing a lot of purchases to try to make up for all the fact they've got a whole bunch of naked contracts for next week. So this may be the gamma ramping happening as they slowly make that rise. Because remember, just what was it, Monkey? Like a month ago, max pain is at like $17. So they've raised it about $6-7 since then. Yeah, the next weird max pain is going to be April, which is at $21. So the rest of it's pretty high. If you can see here. There we go. So this week's 30.50. It was at like $29 earlier in the week, so they've been raising that. We're at 23 for next week, so there's a long ways to go. Either they got to short the shit out of this thing, which I don't think they can because of the swaps and the FTDs. So they're going to have to just purchase shares. And then it's pretty steady, 28.30, 28.30, and then April, $21. June, $20. So I fully expect things to go bonkers again. Probably in March, probably again in June, as we approach these dates. So, but yeah, those big purchases Monday, Tuesday out of Chicago. They could be Keith Gill. It looks like he does stuff out of Chicago, out of the Chicago Exchange. It could be the options houses. So, if he gives us a YOLO update, we might know. We might know exactly who it was. Turkish, hey Houston, California burning. Is it because Trump being a Nazi, white supremacist, racist cunt, or because Democrats? It's burning because we are drastically changing the climate while degrading our services and environment in general. Got a ambulance going by or something. What are you? Fire truck? Ambulance? Yeah, ambulance. There was a house fire like 2 days ago down the road, and everything seems to be burning that way. That was definitely a fire truck now. Crap, again? Jeez. Okay. But no, it's Trump is not causing the fires. It's humanity in general. It's a fire-prone area. The Santa Ana winds are a product of nature. Let's bring up ye old Google Earth. Okay, oops, you can't see Google Earth because I did not turn it on for you. There we go. All right. So, what we got going on right now is we have a high pressure sitting over BC and Washington. So the jet stream's coming along. It's pumping up over the Canadian Rockies and pushing all this air out of Canada. And so we're getting this cold storm hitting the southeast here, just dumping snow and everything down in the Bible Belt. And that cold air is really high pressure. And so the air wants to go somewhere. So it's going to spread out and head its way west. And what does slow, you get these crazy winds that come out of basically the high desert here, where the Mojave and Antelope Valley and everything are. And that wind will push over the San Gabriel Mountains, over the Saddleback Mountains, and the downslope winds are insane. These things just gain lots of speed as they head out into the ocean. And right now what's happening is the winds that are coming along, like over the San Gabriels into Pasadena, over the Hollywood Hills and Malibu into Malibu and Palisades, are insane. These are offshore winds. They usually happen a couple times a year, but not at the speeds that they're doing right now. And the speeds that these winds are doing right now are maybe the biggest ever measured. We're talking 100 miles an hour off the San Gabriels into Altadena and Pasadena here, and 60 to 80 miles an hour out here in the Palisades and Malibu. And everything's just burning down. And the fact that there's a big high pressure system up here is not abnormal. I mean, it's wintertime, cold air arrives and then you get a big high pressure system. It is the strength of the jet stream pumping cold air down into the south is abnormal, and which is causing displacement of air pushing its way west and causing huge amounts of winds in Southern California coming out of the Mojave. That stuff is all abnormal. And compounded with the fact that there's huge droughts, compounded with the fact that the people who own wonderful brands, the ones that own like pistachios and stuff, they control all the water pretty much in California, and they devote most of their water to growing nuts and less water to like people and things. So people, it's too expensive to water plants, keep stuff moist, etc. So we got a compounding of multiple factors cause this to happen, and just lots of people, and everything's dry. Everything is designed to burn. I mean, we've got eucalyptus trees all over the place that we planted back in like the 40s, and eucalyptus trees can only germinate when they catch on fire. So they're designed to catch on fire, and then when they spread their seeds. And so these fires can spread really quick, really fast, especially with these winds. And that's it. Now, the response to the fire, that will have to do with who's in charge. And just like with the response to the hurricanes back in the late summer, early fall, there's one party who votes to increase FEMA spending, and there's another party who does not. And after Helene, we don't have any more FEMA money. It's gone. And the Republicans in Congress voted against allocating more FEMA money. So now we don't have any FEMA money left over for this fire disaster here in Los Angeles. It's going to be in probably the hundreds of billions in damages. So, you can blame one particular party for that exact thing. And that is the cause of Republicans. Republicans do not vote to increase FEMA spending. And when disasters hit, they all want to blame the Biden administration when the purse strings are held by the Republican members of Congress. So, you can definitely blame that on them. The fires themselves are a humanity caused thing because there's just too many of us doing shitty things and not enough attention paid to our environment. And so, yeah, that's what you got. Stephanie here. I'm here in Southwest Santa Monica with my bags packed and cat carriers ready to evacuate if I have to. Ever seen the movie The Road? That's what it seems like outside. Why does Trump want to buy Greenland? Oh, I can bring us back to the map here. Stay safe, Stephanie. Get the hell out of there while you can. I have friends that are living out in Echo Park. They're from here in Seattle. They own a home here in Seattle. They're in the music business. And they rented a place in Echo Park in April for like a year and a half because they were doing music industry stuff. And the husband's in a wheelchair and he can't afford to get lung infections. And so they hopped on a plane just a couple hours ago and they're coming back to Seattle for who knows how long to escape everything. But yeah, no one was able to land in Burbank. So Burbank Airport is right around here somewhere. Where are you, Burbank? Burbank Airport, right in here. The winds were 80 miles an hour and planes couldn't land. So if you're watching Flight Tracker, you're watching these planes come from like Vegas and turn around and head back to Vegas, coming from Seattle and head into Phoenix. Like you can't. There's no way for them to land. Out here where LAX is, LAX out here, you're further away from the downslope winds, so they weren't as bad, and so people are able to get in and out of LAX. Well, on planes, in a car is a different story. LAX is a nightmare. But yeah, so stay safe, Stephanie. Why does Trump want to buy Greenland? Russia. So, making Canada the 51st state, taking over Greenland, and taking control of the Panama Canal, these are all things Putin wants Trump to do. As it stands now, Panama is not letting Russian ships through the Panama Canal. So Russia is having a hard time, exerting its naval might and getting products moved because they're embargoed and they aren't allowed to move things to the Panama Canal. So that pisses Putin off. And if Trump can take over the Panama Canal, he can let Putin have access to both oceans really easily. The other thing is, if you look at the Arctic Circle, you have 5 countries who control the Arctic Circle. You've got Russia, bing. You have Norway, you have, I guess 6 countries. Iceland, and you have Denmark with Greenland. You got Canada, and you have the United States. So these countries all have rights to this giant continental shelf for energy drilling. And we know that there's oil up on the North Slope. That's where Alaska makes all of its money, right? But there's also oil all along here, off of Greenland, off of Canada. And the other thing is the Northwest Passage. As we make the Earth shittier and shittier, in the summertime, this frees of ice and makes it so you can take ships basically through the Canadian archipelago here, the Arctic archipelago, down through. You can go around Russia, and Russia wants to have control of the Arctic, of its resources, and of the Northwest Passage. So if somehow he can get the United States to start a war with Canada and take over Canada, then it does a couple of things. It pisses off the entire world and gets their focus off of Russia. And 2, if successful, then Russia has a puppet state that now controls almost all of the Arctic. Iceland is too small to do anything about it. Norway's pretty scary. And then Denmark does not have the military resources to do much about Greenland at this point. That and Greenland also has a shitload of resources as well. Gold, gemstones, lithium, you name it. And as this giant ice sheet starts to melt and fall into the ocean, more and more of that mineral value will be exposed and will become available to us. Now, there have been attempts in the past for the United States to claim Greenland. My roommate and I were talking about this the other day. During World War II, Greenland became a protectorate of the United States. Why? Because Denmark had been overrun with Nazis, right? So we administrated Greenland during that time. Germans had a military base here. We kicked them out and built our own military bases. So we have some big listening posts, big Air Force bases and stuff here. We even in the 60s tried to build giant kind of Hoth-style bases in the ice, and then we discovered the ice moves way too much for us to be able to do that. So that didn't succeed very well. But yeah, so part of this is a global domination strategy by Trump. He sees himself Hitler-esque, and he wants to take over everybody. So he's making it be known. He's like, I'm going to take over Greenland. I'm going to take over Canada. I'm going to rename the Gulf of Mexico into the Gulf of America, right? Which just does not roll off the tongue as well. I'm going to take over the Panama Canal, and everybody else has to watch out because I'm coming, right? So I really hope that a coronary comes before any of this crap happens. But yeah, that's it. That's why, because Russia wants access to everything, and Trump will give it to him. Cat, dude. This little kitty cat. I need to get her spayed. Or no, my roommate needs to get her spayed because she just is a disaster monster at all times. So, okay, you. Come here. Yes, you're very sweet. You're very cute. All you do is make noise, so you're gonna go out there. Okay. And now she's gonna jump at the door handle and make that noise because she's learned how to open doors. Mom. Where am I? Turkish, Houston, California burning. Oh, we did that one. Kevin Renan. Here, kitty. Alex Bishop. Hi, everyone. Alex Bishop, Houston. If you have the power, tell Ron he's running out of runway for No Labs. I'm so pissed. Oh, yeah, shit. No Labs. I'll talk to Ron about this when we do our yearly interview. But it appears the board wants to do a reverse split. So I am dumping my No Labs. Warp. And I will be buying back in after the reverse split. Because your investment is going to become worthless from a reverse split. That's just what happens. So, yeah, Ron, don't. Just produce positive news, and that's all you need. You don't need to do a reverse split. Who cares about the price of your stock? You have a joint partnership agreement. You met the requirements for NASDAQ for New York Stock Exchange listing. So just don't go the reverse split route, man. Just don't do it. So yeah, I'm dumping my my No Lab shares, and I'll buy back in after a reverse split because I'm not going to go through that crap and lose 90% of my investment. Okay, Scott Lumley. Scott, this is your opportunity to buy low, man. Well, after the reverse split, yeah. Jiminy, it's Houston. It's weird sitting under a foot of snow in the Midwest and reading headlines of California burning. America's karma is janky right now. Yeah, fire season for California is like October, November. So having massive fires in January does not fit normal climate conditions. They should be getting hit with storms, but right now we're in La Nina, so the jet stream is north and leaving California really dry. So Seattle's just getting rain. It's not stopping in Seattle. It's just rain. So yeah. Alex Bishop, I fear of a reverse split before takeoff. I think that's what they're going for. I think they're doing a reverse split. Alex Bishop, what did you find out about No Labs reverse split? They did a filing yesterday. I should have included that in the thing. Okay, who was it that sent it to me? Was it? I have to figure out which platform it was. Was this one? No, it wasn't that one. So it wasn't on Reddit. Was it on Twitter? No, it wasn't on Twitter. Was it on Blue Sky? There's too many platforms. I cannot keep up. Who sent it to me? Where is the link? Ah, Michael Steig sent it to me. That's who sent it to me. Okay, so it's a 14A that was filed with the Securities Exchange Commission yesterday. So no labs. Edgar 14A. Okay. That's from 2023. All filings. There we go. Okay. Pre-14A. This is what got filed yesterday. Oops, that's still a map of North America. Boom, there we go. So this got filed yesterday. Basically, it's the board saying that there's two options. At a special meeting, you and other share stockholders will be asked to vote upon the following. To approve an amendment to our Articles of Incorporation to effect reverse stock split of our common stock by ratio of not more than 1:15. It's basically push the stock up to like $2. With the exact ratio and implementation and timing of such reverse stock split to be determined, blah, blah, blah. And 2, to consider a vote upon adjournment of special meeting in order to solicit additional proxies if there are not sufficient shares to be voted in favor of any of the foregoing proposals at the time of the special meeting. So those are the two things you have. So basically, yeah, they want us to vote on a reverse split, and yeah, Ron, don't do it, Ron. Don't do it. Lynn Partners wants to do this. Don't do it. You're gonna fall into their trap. That's what I'd say. Don't do it. Oh, my father's calling me. 1 second. Mute. Boink. Hello, Father. Oh, I'm going to my mom's house for dinner. Yeah, she asked me to. But thank you. All right. Bye-bye. Okay, there we go. All right. Did that work? Did that happen? Oh, I don't think I hit mute. That's my dad asking me to come to dinner tonight. I hit the properties button and not the sound button. Well, whatever. Where was I? That one did Alex Bishop. Jay Burr, happy birthday, Houston. Did you hear massive ass hat and climate change denier? Oh, massive ass hat and climate change denier. James Woods' house burned down due to the Malibu fires. Welcome to the find out stage, Mr. Woods. James Woods is a giant human hunk of garbage. He's a good actor. I'll give him that. He's been in some marvelous things. But as a human being, he is a garbage person. Do not trust him around your children. He is a pederast. Amber, who was it? Amber Heard? No, not Amber Heard. Amber, crap. She's an actress from the 90s, teen bopper actress. But anyway, she wrote stories about him, trying to force himself on her and other underage girls. He's a bad person, and he's a massive Trumper as well. But yeah, oh well, James, he's rich. He'll get another house somewhere. But later. Sometimes sommelier. Any MMTLP news? None that I know of. Rose Moon, Burr, so cold in Texas. Yeah, you guys are freezing. Sean Chang. Sorry, Boris Raspy first. Houston, Moas or squeeze now? I think it depends on how bad it is, how many shares they need. There's potential for some serious volatility, doing things that happened back in May and June, bouncing off like $85, doing stuff like that, which is why I'm doing the options run. I have my shares in my account in case we go to full squeeze and then yeehaw, right? But the options run can allow me to get the yeehaw money without having it to go to squeeze town. So we'll have to see. It looks like it's lined up for a pretty decent perfect storm. So if we can get the swaps, the FTDs, the options chain all going bonkers, and then maybe throw out a merger acquisition announcement in there somewhere, right? Then I think we go full Moas town. If if the price closes above $85 one of these days, then I think the entire market goes nuts. Everyone starts getting margin called, stuff starts to get liquidated, and we're in the range that they were in January 2021 when they turned off the buy button. And I don't know if they can get away with turning off the buy button this time around. We'll have to see. Depends on how many palms have been greased in Congress, I think, to let that happen without any ramifications. So prepare yourselves to be disappointed, because that's what we're used to. But keep that little ember of hopium in your heart to perhaps maybe get a win. Right? Getting a win is nice. Having runaway prices like 2021, where we're flying $100 in a day, that stuff is delicious. So nom 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 nom. And remember, my play has two sides to it. My options play. One side is try to make as much money trading up and down, right, along the way. So if it opens up $15, $20 on Monday, I sell my calls, buy puts, ride down $5, $10, buy more calls, ride it back up. Do that while I can. And if we get a point where we're hitting like $85 intraday or at open, I will sell. I will take a chunk of what I made off of that, and I will buy an absolute crap load of $50 puts for like March or April, because they'll be cheap. So I'll be able to buy a lot of them. And if they do turn off the buy button and go boop, and the whole price collapses back down to $30 or whatever, then I can make $2,000 off every single one of those puts. So I'm going to once I get enough in the coffers, I'm going to take two directions with it. I'm going to hope that we keep rocking through the 24th and more. But I'm also going to take my hedge that at some point they're going to crash the price back down to where we are right now, and I can make a fortune off of it that way. So that's what we're going for. All right. Shunshing, safely evacuated from Eden Palisades fires in SoCal, catching Houston show to maintain my sanity. Where'd you evacuate to? I know there's like little diners and stuff in the Central Valley. There's inviting to come sleep in our parking lot. We'll feed you. So there's a lot of community going on, because people all over California know what it's like to be terrified of fires. California burns, man. It's a beautiful place to be. It's got lovely landscapes. 90% of the time it's fantastic, but fire seasons are absolutely terrifying. I've got friends in the Bay Area that when shit catches on fire, they come up here and stay with me, sleep in the camping trailer, escape while they can. So it's something that everyone across California experiences year round. I mean, summertime you're looking at the Cascades and the like Mount Whitney, Yosemite, all through there. We also have the October, November fires and usually happen like along the coast, but now it's happening a little later. This is the time of year that Sydney, Australia is supposed to be catching on fire, not Los Angeles. So, then I'm off. GME options closed out today. What happens Friday? Closed out today? I'm talking about the options that. Wait, what? GME options closed out today. What happens Friday? Well, to treat today like a Thursday, right? Because there's no trading tomorrow, and then there's trading on Friday. So you should be able to exercise or day trade or whatever for any options you had expiring on Friday. But I don't know necessarily beyond that if there's anything special that happens. You just treat it like a 4-day trading week, where today is essentially Thursday, and you got one trading day left after everyone takes the day off tomorrow. That's also why I'm buying. I'd thought about gambling and being like, I wonder how many I can get that have 0-day expiration. And then I didn't do it. I bought for next week. Because I think stuff will happen by Monday. I don't necessarily know if Roaring Kitty's actually going to post anything Thursday night. And it was a little bit of me not quite like laying my balls right on the table there. Danny Motes, Houston, happy birthday. I'm gonna go GME puts for this next week. I feel full rug pull coming. By all means. They could also try to go that route and absolutely just hammer this thing back down to max pain. But I think the FTDs. My gamble is that the FTDs are so great that they just can't do it. They have to go out and they have to buy shares, which is going to put more shares in the money, which is going to make the bigger difference between max pain and current price even bigger, which is going to cause gamma ramping, and that's what I'm betting on. And if I'm wrong, well, then I'm wrong. You know, I'm like 50-50 on when these when these volatility cycles come. Okay. Wheat Wild, good night. We'll watch tomorrow. Good night. Bex, happy birthday, Houston. Win Moon. Wednesday. Aaron Salentine, Houston. Ticker Sends is squeezing. They canceled their reverse split, so I bought in 200 shares at 49 cents. Buy-in notice every time a company cancels reverse split, stock screams 100%. Noted. Clark E. Balls. 8th leg, happy birthday. Thanks for the shows. Well, thank you, Clark E. Balls. Andrew Stewart, Houston. What was a fad or trend you were into as a teen kid and now think was dumb? I think the only real fad that I truly fell into was slap bracelets when I was in 4th grade. I couldn't get enough of them. I had like an entire armful of slap bracelets. You know what slap bracelets are because you're young? Basically, someone took the Venetian blind piece, covered in fabric with some sort of stupid saying on it, and you'd slap on your wrist and it would immediately curl and wrap around your arm. And my favorite one, I got a lime green one at a gas station in New Jersey that said, "Can't touch this." That was probably the biggest fad that I was involved in as a child. I look back and I go, but you know, they made me happy then. So there you go. Other fads. I'm sure like a sibling can point out, be like, you were really into that thing. At the moment, slap bracelets are all that's coming to mind. Silent Sapien, Monsieur Wade. Backstage, RC gave a riddle on PP Show earlier. My Rolex has stopped ticking. Looks like I'll have to make a 262-mile trip to headquarters. Seems like cryptic crossword stuff to me. 262-mile trip to headquarters. So if we go back to scene, we go back to Google Earth. So which headquarters? They have headquarters in Dallas. That's where GameStop is, right? The headquarters in Dallas. They have Alamo, which is based in San Antonio. That's more than 262 miles, I can tell you that much. Let's see here. That is... that is... Oh, no, it's one set. Oh, San Antonio. Oh, no, that's 250. 260. Okay. So, let's see here. Let's go Grapevine. Grapevine is out by the airport. DFW. It's North Arlington. There's DFW. Okay, so the headquarters is in one of these warehouses, right? One of these warehouses. Crap. Somewhere over here. Let's do GameStop head corporate offices. Grapevine, Texas. Bam. Search. There it is. Okay, so that's GameStop headquarters is right there. Okay. So we got here. Corporate headquarters, is that red guy? Bam. Come on. Bam. In San Antonio, 247, 250. So 262, somewhere outside San Antonio. Just barely. So Alamo is the one we think that all of the Bye Bye Baby stuff is tied up in. which is, remember the Alamo. So, 262, maybe because the roads are windy, ends up being 262 via the roads. Huh. That's something to think about. And then we got, what's 262 miles from, was it Franklin, New Jersey, where Dream on Me is? Dream on Me, Somerset, New Jersey. Okay, so Dream on Me is there. I don't know what would be 262 miles from Dream on Me. Bing. Bong. Come on. Click. 262. You're looking at Southern Virginia, Eastern Pennsylvania, Northern New York, New Hampshire, Vermont, out in the ocean. So I don't think they're talking about. I think 262 is probably Grapevine to the Alamo. Let's do get directions. Wait, I can go back to GameStop. GameStop corporate offices. Bam, bam. Okay. Get directions from GameStop corporate office to the Alamo. Get directions. Give me directions? Or you just, there we go. That's 287 driving. Well, riddles, man. Riddles. What do you guys think? Oh, crap. Reset of the chat. Come on. Let's scroll back up. Come on. Where are you? Where are you? There it is. Okay. MS Houston. Did you get my super chat last time? Oh, well, Happy New Year. I think I got a super chat from you last time. I believe I did. So, yes. Yes, I did. Murph and Turf Studios. Happy birthday. How old is Chupa Batman? My cat, Jiminy Cricket, aka Jimbo, turned 17 this month. Trying to prepare myself for the day he's no longer with us. We aren't sure. When I adopted him in 2019, they said he was about 4. So it puts him around 9 and change. Monkey Butt's 9 and change. They're probably about the same age. So I don't know. In fat guy years, he's a lot older because he's a fat guy. So, but, this bump on a log, he's a good boy. Yes, you are. Except for when you're trying to attack a monkey. For some reason, recently, you get beat up by that little kitten so much that you just decide to attack Monkey. And then Monkey screams and chases after him. And he has the time of his life. Texas69. What's your opinion on Trump's proposal about Canada, Panama, and Greenland? It's all just stupid as shit. People who complain about us being the world police, right, are now like, let's take over the world. So you can't take any of them seriously. Greenland is not going to become part of the United States. The people of Greenland do not want our crappy healthcare system. They want the infrastructure that Denmark pays for and treats everyone well. If anything, they might want their own autonomy, but they don't have the finances to actually pay for their own autonomy. So they will take Denmark over the United States. They do not want to be part of the United States. The only way the United States is going to take over Greenland is if we decide to go to war with an EU nation, which would violate everything in NATO, and it would be an absolute wet dream for Putin if that were the case. So this is all about Trump trying to overwhelm the news cycle so that on January 20th, when they start signing executive order after executive order after executive order to overwhelm the legal system, none of us are prepared for it. Fascism is going to come quickly. And this is all part of that game plan, to go out there and overwhelm any checks and balances we have, any media we have that would possibly be able to ferret out the truth. This is an information campaign overload, and that's what they're shooting for. So, yeah, just treat it as that, and know that, well, we're probably fucked. That's that's what I say. MS, hey, would 25,000 take me comfortably from Spain to Alps to beaches in Greece? Might need a 6-foot bodyguard. You can do it for a lot less than that. I mean, right now, wintertime, you can fly to Zurich for like $400 or $500. A train ride anywhere, $100, maybe. You know, night in a fancy hotel. Your hotels in Europe are cheap, so you're looking at $100 maybe for a really nice hotel. Food, if you're eating out, that can be expensive depending on which country you're in. If you're in Switzerland, it's expensive, but you get to Italy, cheap. Get to Greece, really cheap. Spain, cheap. Yeah, 25,000 would give you a very, very, very luxurious vacation through all those places. You would live like a king or queen if you did that. But yeah, you would have quite the time. In 2010, I spent 6 weeks in France, Norway, Iceland, and Tunisia. And I think I spent $5,000 over 6 weeks, and including airfare. So I did it on the cheap. I was staying in really cheap hotels. I was staying in hostels. But I was eating out almost every meal. We stayed at places usually had continental breakfast, so at least they get breakfast. But yeah, it was, I bet now I could probably do it for not too much more expensive than that if I really wanted to. When I go to Switzerland, I spend about 2 weeks. I spend maybe $2,000, and that's including airfare. And so, go to Switzerland, airfare $400 or $500. The train ticket round trip from Zurich to Davos, where my friends live, and back is about $300, and that includes, I think, 8 days of skiing. So for $700-800, I got my flight, I got my skiing. Another $100 to $200 gets me my rentals, because it's just as much to just get rentals as it is to just bring my skis over, and that's more of a pain in the ass. And then, another $1,000 for eating chef's hot dogs at the Mungo Hut, and hot chocolates, and maybe going to dinner a couple of times. So yeah, about $2,000. And I live pretty well. I got a free place to stay because I'm staying with friends. But if you're getting a hotel, the nice hotels in town, those are, if you're not there the week of WEF, you're paying $100 a night. So 2 weeks, $1,400, not too shabby. And those places often have continental breakfast, so you don't have to worry about breakfast. So, yeah, for $25K, you can go first class pretty much everywhere. Peachy Sunday. Everywhere is burning around me, Houston, and people are politicizing it, blaming the president and the governor as if they were the ones who said not to have any rain. The city of LA does take some blame. As far as emergency services are concerned, they recently cut like $30 million out of the fire department and added $100-something million to the police department. So you can see where the city government is prioritizing citizens' money going. And believe me, way more damage is being caused by these fires than by unpoliced areas of LA. I would focus so much more on firefighting in Los Angeles than on policing if I were in charge. But yeah, it's bad. Matthew Jackson, California insurance companies drop fire coverage. What could homeowners do? Nothing. There needs to be some sort of federal regulation for the insurance agencies, forcing them to provide coverage for people. That basically what it should come down to. Because the same thing's happening in Florida and Texas, where people are losing insurance because of natural disasters, and then they're just living there uninsured. But people have to live there. It's where major parts of our economy and resources and stuff are involved, and so people need to live there, and they need to have insurance for living there. So, may become a ghost town, some post-apocalyptic ghost town at some point. But right now, millions of people live there. You're gonna have to figure out some sort of way to provide insurance or force insurance companies to provide insurance. Yeah. Charles Bronson, Houston. I bet they will never say they read more than you ever again. We're thinking nobody reads more than Houston Wade. So Saban. Hey, Houston. Do you think Jimmy Carter market closure has changed Warren Kitty's planned tweet tomorrow? I don't know. Some things get thrown into the mix, but my feeling is, if I were Keith Gill, what I would want the markets to freak out on a Friday. That's what I'd want. I'd want them to go absolutely bonkers on a Friday, so that there's like a huge $10, $15 price gain, which causes massive buying by the options sellers, huge gamma ramping, and then we close way above max pain, so that things go even crazier on Monday and we get a full-on gamma squeeze. That's what I would, if I had $500 million to mess with the markets, that's how I would do it. I would make things like I would make a post on a Thursday night when the market's closed, so that things go absolutely haywire before open, and then the FOMO hits full on. Media's talking about it, blah blah blah, and then I would do it again Sunday night. I would do it again Sunday night, so that pre-market Monday stuff goes nuts. So if I were him, I wouldn't change it. I would want to be well above max pain, close on Friday, so that next week things get really juicy. So I hope it doesn't change his plans. I know he got a big old wrench in the gears with his plans the last couple times around with the dilution from GameStop. So maybe he's thinking of alternate paths. But I understand them making an announcement Thursday night after close, so that Friday goes nuts, and we close high, put a lot of shares in the money, and then hit the ground running on Monday. Turkish, is an FTC under Democrat control for now? It is. I'm not sure how much longer it's going to be. The Senate Democrats really fucked up. They could have nominated Lena Khan for another 7-year post. And now they lost the House and the Senate. So, we'll see if she resigns on the 20th. But yeah. Kelly Reed. Seeing a lot of hype vids on Superstonk about GME, including your OG interview with Josh on The Gist. It's Art of War mastered by a bunch of idiots who should know better. Bring back 2021 vibes. Oh, man, I hope so. Kelly Reed, hoping Roaring Kitty posts before January 17th for my $33 calls. Those 33s are probably doing okay right now. I think next week they'll be doing real okay. John Vasquez, Houston, if GME goes past $100, can this cause a liquidity crisis? Yes. Past $100 would vaporize the hedge funds and the market makers. So that's equivalent of $400 in 2021 when they turned off the buy button. And anytime they got close to 350, became a massive short attack, try to push it back down again, because they could not close that high and suffer the consequences. So yeah. And because they've been shorting ever since then, they've only built on more and more liability since then. So the max price that they can sustain is probably below $100. My guess is around $85 is when the wheels come off. So, excuse me, monkey. I'm a yawny man. Sometimes sommelier. Is there any possible way for hedgies to keep GME down next week? Please say no. If there are, I'm not immediately thinking of anything beyond massive short attacks. And I don't know if they can do that at the moment with how many FTDs they got to provide for. So I'm going to say probably not. They might have a couple million shares saved up for shorting if they can. But I think next week would be a bad week to do that, because the week after the stock price is going to be much higher, making them hurt even more. I would wait, I guess. And just kind of, if I were them, I'd just be like, but yeah, I think the next couple weeks are going to be spicy. Fred Jones, Houston. Heard that you should not rely on Roaring Kitty. I heard tinfoil from PP that one of the previous memes inferred that the stock would have to run without him. I don't know, man. What do you think, Monkey? I don't know, man. What? Oh, you're looking up for Piggy? Okay, fine. Fine. Yeah, I don't know. I think Roaring Kitty is still in this. I still think he wants to buy at least 4.9% of the company. Come on, get it. Right here. Come on. Get it. There you go, you gentle dog. Go forth in the night, you gentle dog. You queen of Bainbridge Island. Okay. Jimmy. Max Payne for most of 2025 is definitely 99% wrong. I mean, we're getting close to it. Let's see here. I'm going to go to that one. No, not that one. That one. Scene. Oops. Turn off the Google Earth. Boom. Okay. So, Max Payne. I mean, this is where Max Payne is basically where the hedge funds need it to be for them. Not the hedge funds. The options writers need it to be for them to make the most money, right? So if we close at $33, they're losing money. They got to go out and get 22 million shares, or 2.2 million shares, and they don't want to do that. That's a lot of money. That's tens of millions of dollars they don't want to go spend and cause more price action in the market. The next week, this one, there's 105,000 shares currently in the money. Sorry, 105,000 contracts, so 10.5 million shares in the money. This is big. And this doesn't include all the buying of weeklies that are going to happen today. They're going to happen tomorrow. Like, let's look at what was the volume on, there we go, GME options chain. GME options chain. What was our volumes today for next week? Okay, so this is for next week. We got big numbers at 20, got big numbers at 25, we've got huge numbers at 30, and so we haven't even seen the real buying next week for options. So that means Friday, I expect to see these things in the thousands for volume for each one of these. So I expect to see us add thousands and thousands and more. We got a whole bunch purchased at 35 today. I was one of these at 35.5. Well, not very many there. We got a bunch at 40. A whole bunch of people buying cheap at 40. And a shit ton at 125. 54,000 contracts traded today at for 125 because they're cheap. They're $11 each. So, holy smokes. What's crazy is that the 120s are it's only a penny difference between those. So this is people thinking that there's going to be some sort of crazy day, like a Monday or Tuesday, where we open insanely high and applied volatility pushes this stuff up to like $5, and all of a sudden they go, all right, I'm out, and so I think that's the goal of these purchases here. But I would assume that tomorrow we'll see these suckers at 5 or 10,000 each across the board for things that are within about $5 of the current price. So look for that. Not tomorrow, Friday. But we still have 20,000 contracts at $35. So that there's potentiality to add another 3 million shares. So this thing goes to $35 next week, and 13 million shares going in the money is a lot. And if we do get crazy price actions, because Roaring Kitty does a YOLO update, we'll hit the 40s. So we push another 10 million shares. We'll be at 20 million, 30 million shares, something like that goes in the money if we get to 40, which is enough to cause runaway gamma come the morning of the week of the 24th. So I think the potential is there. We just need that potential to turn into kinetic energy, and away we go. A Turkish paint this winter season everywhere. How the F is the fire spreading with damp leaves? It ain't damp in California. Southern California's had 0.1 inches of rain since May. It's very, 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 very dry. So, no. It's super dry. It's not wet. Like up here in Seattle, January, it could rain, and then 5 days later, the ground's still wet because we have no sunshine. So there's no evapotranspiration that happens. Evapotranspiration is the rate at which basically the air and sunlight causes water to evaporate from the ground. So we can look at, here, go back to the map. Back to Earth, because Hawaii is a really good example to do with like microclimates. So we're gonna go to the Big Island real quick. Okay, so here's the Big Island of Hawaii, right? We have the wet side, so the trade winds come off the ocean, push all these storm systems and clouds into the west-northwest side of the island. Up here, where you get orographic lift, the winds push the air up, the air then condenses more quickly, and you get lots of rain. You're looking at 400 or 500 inches of rain a year right here in this band. At about, what is this, 6,000 feet? Yeah, 5,000 feet. And then down here in Hilo, it's 100 to 200 inches of rain, which is, it's 5 times as much as Seattle gets. So you get lots of rain. But you can cross the mountains and you get over here to like Kohala, where when the air descends, it warms and it dries out. And you might get 5 or 10 inches of rain a year out here. So, but the evapotranspiration rate is a couple hundred inches. So things remain green because evapotranspiration rate being this far south means it's warm, so the air wants to evaporate everything really quickly. So when it does rain, it doesn't sink into the ground, gets evaporated pretty quickly, and it can dry out very fast. So in order for the stuff to be as green as it is, you have to have several hundred inches of rain to combat the amount of the warm air wants to dry everything out. Whereas over here, you get several hundred inches of evapotranspiration. I mean, if you put out a pan of water that's 100 inches deep, in a year, that whole thing would evaporate. That's basically what that's saying. So you need to use a shitload of water to make things like a golf course green. And as a result of the evapotranspiration, what happens is you water it, and then all the nutrients start to rise with the water to the soil, so you get really, really salty soils. So then you need like fertilizers to combat how salty it is, and nitrates and things. So it's lots of chemical warfare going on to keep these golf courses green in this super dry desert. California's the same way. You get down here. So this is full on what do you call it? Rain shadow, leeward dryness. You get to Kona. Kona, a little bit further south, is a bit more Mediterranean climate. This is a bit more like California. Southern California has a Mediterranean climate where during the day you have onshore winds. At night, the air cools and descends quicker than it does over the ocean. You get offshore winds. And so you can get little storm systems happening between night and day sometimes. So you get a little more rain up on slopes and stuff like that due to those winds. But, it still does not have the rainfall that the windward side has. Over here we get 100 inches. You might get 30 or 40 inches in here. California has Mediterranean climate in that same way, in that you have a cool ocean. You got land that can heat up and cool down very quickly. So ocean water, it self-regulates its temperature much easier than the surface of the land does. So, sun comes out, warms up the land a lot, causing air to rise, and then the cooler ocean to blow all the air on shore. And then in the evenings, the land cools off much quicker, and the ocean stays pretty much the same temperature. So the ocean is now warmer than land, and the wind comes offshore and blows on the ocean. When the Santa Ana's hit, that causes all sorts of problems. But for the most part, California somewhat self-regulates its weather systems. They don't get storm systems and jet streams the way we do up here in Seattle, where just storm after storm comes off the ocean, hits us day after day, week after week, month after month, for 7-8 months a year, making us really green. California's, for the most part, Southern California's climate is determined upon that daytime warm air, nighttime cool air, daytime warm air, nighttime cool air. And so it's much more localized as these jet streams hit further north. The problem is that the high pressure systems that are forming over the deserts are getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger as years go on, forcing a change to this daily Mediterranean climate system, where even if the land is warming up and the air is generally rising, there's so much air pressure on the other side out in the desert that it's just blowing wind through anyway, keeping any localized storm systems from ever coming on shore. So it's overcoming that Mediterranean cycle, making it much, much more dry. I mean, San Diego, I don't think has had measurable rainfall in like 6 months. It's the driest winter they've ever had. So Southern California in general is just looking to burn. Everything's dried out. At least in the Sierra Nevadas, they've got a whole bunch of snow right now, so there's the potential for lots of water for everybody. But with the Palm Wonderful people being a bunch of dipshits and greedy as hell, who knows if anyone will ever get that water. But yeah, the local climate, which used to kind of self-regulate itself, has been turned on its head via the super high pressure systems forming over the deserts because we're just warming everything too much. And that's where we are. Dual 12. How long does pressure systems usually last? These things are weird. They're lasting longer than they should. So saying like usually versus what's happening now are two vastly different things. If this were El Nino, right? So El Nino, here, go back to the Earth here. So if you guys remember what El Nino is when off the coast of Peru, the water warms too much. So we have currents that go all over. And so with the Pacific Cycle current, we have a whole bunch of warm water comes down through the South Pacific, cools as it heads to Antarctica, runs east, and then runs up the coast of South America, bringing much colder water than one would expect for like the coast of some tropical climates here. So that's the Humboldt current that comes up. And that cold water comes up and usually makes, comes to the equator, spins off, warms up as it crosses the ocean, gets to the South Pacific, gets really warm, comes back down, and creates that cycle. On the northern side, we have warm water comes off of like Central America and Mexico, works its way west, where it gets really, 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 really warm, heads up the Philippines, Japan, Aleutian Islands, gets cold, hits Canada, and then works its way back down the coast. So then you get colder water than one would expect along the Pacific coast. Then you do like on the other side of the Pacific. That's our cycle, and then it warms up again, heads west. They basically kind of run against each other, like opposite directions. Okay, so what we have happening during El Nino is that we get high pressure systems forming over the Caribbean. That causes a bunch of air to blow over basically like Costa Rica and Panama. A bunch of wind blows over this from the high pressure systems that form here. And that blows away the warmer water at the top of the ocean, and colder water upwells from underneath. So as this water is warming, as it comes up the coast, it gets up into this area sort of between Peru and Central America, and the warm water gets blown away by these winds and cold water upwells. So that's when you get your La Nina. And this forces jet streams to move further north. So like Canada and Washington get hit really hard. Then El Nino, the high pressure system shut down here. The winds stop and this water gets really, really warm because it's not getting blown anywhere. So you get really, really these huge bands sort of along the equator off of Ecuador and Peru of abnormally warm water. And this causes the jet streams to move further south and hammer California. So if any of you were alive during the El Nino of 1998, you'd know that like storm system after storm system all winter long, they should have been hitting Washington, were hitting Southern California, and they were just getting the beaches torn away, houses falling into the ocean, flooding, you name it. And right now we're in La Nina, so the water is cold because the wind is blowing off of the Caribbean, and that's pushed the jet stream further north, leaving California bone dry with the high pressure sitting over it. So basically, we've moved into this cycle where it's either La Nina or El Nino, and it's not really being anything in between for the last 25 years or so, 27 years or so. And so how long does the high pressure system last? Until El Nino comes back, basically. That's kind of what we're looking at. Until El Nino comes back. That's how long these high pressures are going to sit, causing these massive Santa Ana winds to happen, and fires to rage. I don't think it's I don't think they're going to see any relief anytime soon, personally. So, Turkish, how would money help when there's no water for money in the fire? Well, the money from FEMA helps in that people can rebuild, right? Because if your house burns down, you don't have insurance, FEMA's got to step in and do something about it. At least like the homes that are burning down are people that are probably already pretty filthy rich. So them not having insurance isn't like poor people. You know, if you have the fires, at least this is the way Southern California works, is that rich people live in the hills or next to the hills, right? So you got Beverly Hills here, you have the Hollywood Hills up here, and folks live, on the little ridges of these canyons. They don't want to live in the canyon because they don't have any views, right? So you can see all these little roads go up the ridges of the canyons, and that's where everyone's homes are. Well, this is where the fire starts. This is where the trees are. Where the poor people live, you live out like you got like East LA, Commerce, South Central, places like that, Compton. They don't have trees out here. They don't have mountains, so they don't have the same winds. So at least it's the rich people getting their shit burnt, and not the poor people, because the poor people have nothing. They can't afford hotels. They can't afford to evacuate. So it's the rich people. At least they can like afford to rent a place or vacation somewhere else. They got a second home somewhere, right? They can rent something. So at least it's the rich people that are burning and not the poor people. So that's one way to look at it. At least in this situations, it's the rich people that are facing the effects of climate change more than the poor people. So it's usually the other way around. Jews Miami, Greenland has a major military facility that's there to protect NATO and Europe from Russian attacks. True. Avocados. Woo! Only missed 24 minutes. Stay safe, Stephanie. Sending positive vibes. Stubby Ham. Hey, Houston. The best content as usual. What is your thoughts on the possibility of RK DRSing as GME shares? P.S. Did I miss the upside down cat holding session? Thank you. We haven't had an upside down cat. I threw her out. She was getting annoying, but maybe we can see if she's calmed down. Has the idiot calmed down, monkey? Or she goes somewhere to sleep, all pissed off at me for throwing her out. I'm surprised she wasn't clawing at the door. So maybe she'll come in and she can come in and calm down and be upside down. We'll see. Want to go get her, monkey? Want to go get her? Want to go get her? Yeah? No? All right. K Crusher. What's crazy is that the media makes it sound like the entire state of California is on fire. It's not the entire state. It's just all the people who the media cares about are on fire. All the rich people. They don't care about the people who live in Compton, East LA. They don't care about those people. That entire place could be wiped off the map, and the news would be like, oh, well. But rich people are losing their multimillion-dollar homes, and that is big news because bad things aren't supposed to happen to rich people. Right? a school of children get blown away, and we talk about it for a couple of days. One healthcare CEO gets blown away, and that is the worst thing to ever happen. So that's just the way the media works. Because the media is owned by rich people, therefore they want news for rich people about rich people because that's all they care about. Robert Hurt was driving Vegas to Reno last night on 95, 70-mile-an-hour winds coming from the east. Yep. Huge high-pressure systems from the cold air that's come out of Canada. Just pushing air like crazy across everything. Avocados got a cruddy cold chicken and rice for dinner. Had homemade chicken noodle soup past 2 nights. Gonna hit the hay early. Hope everyone else is doing better. I wonder if chicken noodle soup is like going to go through the roof, or we're going to get shrinkflation on chicken noodle soup because of bird flu. Ken Griffin is in here. What is the bet in the title? Well, the bet is the money I laid down on options. That's our bet. Gary Delvecchio, which is the worst, best for our collective future? Intelligent robots or ex-Tesla employees using quantum computing? I think Tesla robots using quantum computers. That's going to be our Skynet. Just Miami that you will go broke. Oh, Ken Griffin. To be him. Yo, is that the real Ken Griffin, bro? I'm sure the real Ken Griffin is spending his time on my YouTube channel for sure. Watch out, everyone. He's here and he means business. Scott Chocolate, No Labs took toxic financing about 6-8 months ago. That is what's killing them. Yeah, the people may be right about the Lind deal. It's probably Lind pressuring them to do the reverse split as well. So I mean, I guess if you got shares, vote against the reverse split, and if it gets approved, buy back in later. Fatten thy purse. Hey man, good to see you. Good to see you as well. Avocados, your parents love you. Sweet. Well, thank you. I probably the greatest privilege I have in life is good parents, and not everyone gets to say that. And I feel sorry for everybody who doesn't have parents who are there for them or can be there for them. We got major dog cat wrestling going on in the hallway. If you have someone whose parents are there for you and love you, appreciate every moment of it, because folks, not everyone has that. Some people have shitty parents. Some people have parents who are gone. You're not going to see them anymore. So do what you can. Spend your time with them. Let them help you, because that's what they do. And they actually do love help. Like, my dad's 88, right? He's an old man, but he's in good shape for an old man. So when I have certain building projects, I can build them all in my garage, but I'll invite him over. I'm like, come on, help me build this thing. He's like, oh boy. And he comes, and I could use a power tool to just screw everything in, but it's much better to be like, hey, Dad, can you help me with this? And he's got the screwdriver out, and he's like using his muscles, and give them something to do, man. Well, they might be retired. They need stimulus just as much as this fat turd right here needs, right? You hate stimulus. But yeah, do what you can. Hang out with them, have dinner with them, spend evenings with them, do puzzles with them, do whatever it is that makes them interesting. If your parents are shitty, forget them, fuck them, whatever. Go find some cool people to hang out with and spend time with those folks. And I feel sorry for you if you got shitty parents. I know many people do. I have many friends who've got parents like, you go to work and you ask, hey, what are your Christmas plans? And you see something like, I have no plans for Christmas. You're like, oh shit. I probably shouldn't ask that question. But they came from a hard life with parents who weren't good to them, who weren't nice to them, or maybe their parents are gone. I work with this woman. She's a lesbian, and she grew up in a very strict, far-right, conservative, fundamentalist Christian household. And she doesn't see her parents because they don't love their child anymore because she was born a lesbian, right? And So, I guess if you've got cool parents, have your cool parents sort of nominally become surrogate parents for your friends. That's what I'm saying. Because, Thanksgiving, Christmas, we got the orphans, right? Folks that can't afford to go to see their parents, don't have family that they want to go see, have no family whatsoever they can see. We bring them along. We bring them to our Thanksgiving dinners. We bring them to our Christmas dinners. And, we love them as much as anyone can. Like, I had a friend from college. Shortly after we graduated, she moved to Seattle, and she couldn't afford to go down for the holidays to see her family in San Francisco. And so I invited her over. She stayed Christmas Eve with my family, and she woke up, and Santa Claus had brought her a big, giant stocking full of all sorts of gifts and presents and things. And I remember just her crying so hard because, like, she didn't expect it that Santa was going to drop several $100s on a stocking for her for Christmas because she was staying at her house. Like, she just thought, she'd have breakfast with us and spend some time. But it's, I don't know, just, and if you have the chance to be a parent to somebody, do it, right? Especially like I don't know, I don't have children of my own. I'm not necessarily in a place where I can afford, to have a family of sorts. But, if MOAS allows me cash, livelihood, the equivalent of a lifelong pension, etc., I wouldn't mind, like, finding poor kids that are abandoned from war zones, whatever, and just doing the best I can for them. Because, I had the privilege of good family, and I feel like I need to provide that to folks who haven't. I don't know. Just be good. Just do nice things for people. Bring your friends into your family if your family's cool, and there you go. Okay. Speaking of which, I've only got a few minutes because I promised my mother I was going to go have dinner with her and put together a puzzle. So in a couple of minutes, I'm logging off. Citizen 54, Houston, do you think we'll have elections in 2 years? Could we recover some control over the government by then? I think that largely depends upon, is Donald Trump alive in 2 years? Or has he been 25th Amendmented? I think if Vance is president, we have elections in 2 years. If Trump is president, let's see what the polymarket betting says about that. But it could be, regardless. Stubby Ham, by the way, how did the donations for charity end up? Hopefully well. We ended at $1,400 for St. Jude's. So maybe everyone was a little tapped out after our huge charity run for Toys for Tots. But, I think we're at $10,000 total for St. Jude's over the last 3 years. Not too shabby. Not too shabby at all. 10 grand for a really, 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 really good charity. Malik Savage, Houston, what are your thoughts on GME fractals theory and how similar the current chart is to January 21? You can believe in fractals. You can believe in all the TA stuff. I think you look at the fundamentals. You look at how many FTDs there are, failures to deliver. You look at what the options chain is doing and where those swaps are. And I think it's looking very familiar because we've got lots of swaps coming due. We've got the options chain is going nuts and FTDs have to get purchased. So that is what I'm relying upon. Where it goes from there, if it repeats like May, June, I'm ready for it. If it does something else, I will have to hope that I can adapt. So that's what I think. Snurtler, Houston, when will the bond wall hit? Thanks in advance. I don't know. I would have thought it would hit already. I mean, it's hitting in like mortgage-backed securities and stuff. But corporate bonds are out of control. The interest rates are way too high. I don't know. I have no idea. And the market keeps going bonkers, right? Because it's way overinflated. So people are like, I don't want to invest in treasuries right now and get a 4% yield. So I'm going to invest in the market and get a 25% yield. And then the treasuries have to raise their rates to entice investors over. Like, okay, if it's at 8%, sure, I'll buy some, right? Which the Fed keeps trying to cut rates, but it's not actually doing anything because treasuries and municipal bonds and stuff are competing with investors in the markets. And so if they can get more from the markets, they're going to ignore these bonds. And there we go. And Julius Miami, Ally Financial ends mortgage origination. Percent tighten auto loans qualifications. Guess those Carvana loans are blowing up. Puts. Yeah, Carvana might not be long for this world. We may find a lot of Carvana cars at auction. So, just in time for us to get some moolah. All right, everybody. I go to visit my mom. It was a pleasure chit-chatting. If Roaring Kitty does something tomorrow, I will do a short show after that. If not, I'll see you guys Friday. So, yeah, cool. All right. Everybody have a great night. It is dark outside. I should do an after dark, right? Link. Bye-bye.